Actress Diane Keaton has died in California at 79. Her family confirmed the news, but the cause of death was not disclosed. Contrary to reports, Keaton did not die of pneumonia. The last doctor to examine her described a reaction inside her body unlike anything he had seen in 30 years. A report was sealed just hours later, and the case became the most mysterious in Cedars-Sinai's history. That night is still whispered about in Los Angeles medical circles. A doctor lost his job, a file disappeared, and the official conclusion was reduced to 2 words: pneumonia. On October 12, 2025 early morning, the autopsy room was silent, lit only by the cold glare of fluorescent lights. Diane Keaton's body lay covered by a thin white sheet. The lead forensic doctor studied her tests and lung images. They didn't match pneumonia. When the sheet was lifted, a pale silver mark appeared on her left shoulder. Small, scaly lesions were found around an old surgery site. Under the microscope, her cells weren't dying. They were misfiring, as if her body were rebooting. Even Keaton's lungs were abnormal. Tissue glowed faintly under blue light, suggesting enzyme activity usually seen in living cells. A single note read, "Reaction pattern does not correspond with bacterial spread. Possible autoimmune response." The tissue samples were sealed for pathology, but the report vanished. The hospital system went offline, and the chief doctor ordered the note removed. Strangely, her body temperature remained at 33 degrees Celsius for hours after death, a rare phenomenon linked to autoimmune or metabolic irregularities. When pressed, the hospital said only, "No cause of death other than pneumonia has been identified. We respect the family's privacy," rumors circulated in Los Angeles. A dermatologist suggested her lungs may have attacked themselves. Another noted her shoulder skin resembled tissue altered by decades of phototherapy. In 2024, she participated in a UCLA study on immune changes in former skin cancer patients, a report never published. 3 days after her death, the lead forensic doctor quietly resigned, noting her file had vanished. Keaton's medical history spanned decades. Diagnosed with basal cell carcinoma at 22, she endured surgeries and phototherapy, leaving her intensely light-sensitive. Autopsy revealed keratinized tissue, reawakening cells, and almost translucent skin. Years of bulimia also left long-term scars on her immune system, complicating infections. By 2023, she needed nighttime oxygen. Her lungs showed tiny erosions and enlarged vessels, signs of repeated damage. One doctor said her body had fought too long, not just against illness, but against itself. The official report listed pneumonia, but no one who examined her lungs believed infection alone caused her death. A preliminary note on a lung sample read, "Foreign cell clusters detected, unidentifiable origin." The sample disappeared 3 days later. Experts speculate these clusters could indicate a rare autoimmune misfire, where lung cells alter themselves and evade the immune system, phenomena never seen in elderly patients. Cedars-Sinai confirmed no samples were lost but refused to release storage codes. A doctor close to Diane said her body reacted as if it was still resisting, as if it didn't want to stop. Her passing then was not a simple death from illness. It was a mysterious chain of biological responses, a body that tried to endure and renew in ways medicine cannot yet explain. Even now, whispered theories circulate in Los Angeles hospitals and UCLA labs about what really happened inside Diane Keaton's body, questions no one dares to answer. After the examination, Cedars-Sinai stayed silent. No statements, no notes, no press. 3 days later, newspapers listed her cause of death: bacterial pneumonia. Officially simple, but doctors whispered otherwise. One tissue analyst told The Guardian, "The signs didn't match ordinary pneumonia. Something beyond medical description happened across Beverly Grove hospitals and cafes." 3 theories spread. The first, a delayed autoimmune reaction. Leaked UCLA reports suggested autoimmune pulmonary necrosis, where her immune system attacked her lungs from within. No fever, no swelling, just sudden collapse. During her final day, she was conscious, reading and smiling, while oxygen levels and heart rate fell unpredictably. Experts said decades of treatments, strict diets, and light exposure may have triggered the chain reaction. The second theory, effects of phototherapy from the 1980s. High-intensity ultraviolet sessions had left subtle genetic changes, photomutations, capable of affecting other organs. UCLA studies hinted her lung tissue even glowed faintly under blue light, a lingering photochemical response. Light that once healed may have returned in her final hours. Diane Keaton passed quietly in September 2025, her official cause of death listed as bacterial pneumonia. Cedars-Sinai issued no statements. Newspapers repeated the line verbatim. Yet doctors whispered otherwise. One tissue analyst told The Guardian, the signs didn't match ordinary pneumonia. Something beyond medical description happened. 3 theories circulated: a rare autoimmune pulmonary necrosis, decades of phototherapy leaving subtle genetic traces, and a metabolic drug reaction. Broad-spectrum antibiotics in her final week failed to absorb due to past digestive issues, potentially creating toxic compounds. Doctors called it end-stage metabolic reversal, where the body ceases to heal and turns against itself. None of this appeared in her official file. A forensic doctor told ABC Local News that even speaking of it was exhausting, because what remained on her body was anything but peace. Keaton had lived cautiously, avoiding sunlight in her quiet Brentwood home. She moved slowly, always covered with 2 small dogs. Her house was neat and silent, containing only books, a piano, and black and white photos of her past. Those who knew her said she had been leaving this world long before the obituary notices arrived. Beyond medicine, her life was a quiet rebellion. She loved deeply Woody Allen, Warren Beatty, Al Pacino, but always on her own terms. When Pacino called in September 2025, their final conversation lasted less than 3 minutes. "It's just that the light feels too bright lately," she said softly. Since 2021, Diane had nearly vanished from public life. She dressed in her signature wide-brimmed hat, high-collared shirts, and gloves. Her skin had grown so thin, even dim light stung. She shortened curtains, removed mirrors, lowered the home temperature, and communicated almost exclusively by messages. In August 2025, she revised her will, leaving most of her estate to her children and a skin cancer research fund. In a handwritten note, she wrote, "I've lived close to light for too long. Now I want to see if there's peace in the dark." In her final week, Diane remained lucid, cheerful, and smiling. Friends said she faded by choice, leaving while everything was still whole. Her body may have stopped, but the mysteries of her life, immune reactions, photochemical traces, and a willful withdrawal from light remain unanswered. When the news broke, the world called her Hollywood's Queen of the Wide-Brimmed Hat, a polite farewell. Yet those who truly knew Diane understood. She had been leaving for a long time, quietly, deliberately, on her own terms. Science may never explain her final moments. What remains is a life lived fully, fiercely, and with a singular devotion to self, where the last glimmer of light met the silence she had chosen.